Hello and welcome to United Stand, back where we belong, back in the United Stand studio. Thanks everybody for tuning in as per usual. If you're watching live, just one of those days really. Been ready for ages and then the laptop decided to update. Took over an hour. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But let's fly into it. As the show says, it's about Mourinho. It's about Pogba. It's about Manchester United. It's about positivity. We are 2 days away from what I believe is the start of the new season, and it is the start of the new season. We have no weekends left now between now and May where there is no football, and the majority of those will have important Manchester United games in it. So I'm really, really excited about that. Yes, we've spoken about Schweinsteiger. Yes, we might talk about that a little bit in the show. But what I want to say is that I am 100% behind Jose. I wanted him to be the manager, and I want, you're probably the same. I might not agree with a lot of things that he does as Manchester United manager because that's ridiculous. You should never totally agree with anybody. However, I do back him, and most of all, he will win us the title within the next 2 years. Guaranteed. Whether it's this season or next season, guaranteed. And to be honest, that's what we need to do. We should never, when we start moaning, because we always start moaning, we should never forget where we've been for the last 3 years, and it's been horrific. And I think if somebody offered us this now, where some of us are just not happy with the way Schweinsteiger is being treated, if we've been offered this now compared to, March time, even January time, Zlatan, Mkhitaryan, Pogba, Bailly, Jose Mourinho, we would have snapped their hands off, and I would have as well. So I totally agree with those people. And I'm not being anti. What I am saying is there are things that I'm not happy with, but that's natural as a Manchester United fan, isn't it? That is totally natural. On a positive, Pogba's coming. Well, we've been saying that for a long time, haven't we? Pogba will come to Manchester United. It is no surprise. For those who missed the Mourinho press conference today, he basically said, "I've got 22 players. I will have 23 very soon. I've bought a world-class striker, an up-and-coming defender, a top-class midfielder, and I will be getting another top-class midfielder." It's Pogba. We all know it's Pogba. We all know it's in the hands of Manchester United and Adidas as to when it will boom. But some people think tomorrow. I think Monday. The reality is it's going to happen, and we can't wait for it to happen, can we? Just touching on that, he also made comments about Jurgen Klopp and Arsene Wenger, and basically said they were unethical to be commenting on Manchester United transfers, basically both of them saying that £100 million is ridiculous. Wenger, the best, saying that even if I had £100 million to spend, I wouldn't spend it on one player. Well, one, you've answered the own question there, haven't you, Arsene? You'll never have £100 million to spend. And two, you're telling us you wouldn't go for Pogba. Well, that's why you've not won a title for nearly 2 decades, you prat. That is why, mate. That is why. And I'm sure every Arsenal fan would love them to be spending £100 million on Pogba. So you can come out with your pompous, I'm the best category comments like that, Arsene. But the reality is most of your support would want you to be spending £100 million. You absolute clown. So, yeah, no issues with that. Jose's right to call them unethical. What they should have come out with was, it's nothing to do with me, how Manchester United spend their money. I'm not going to comment on that. But they have to have a little dig, don't they? And Jose was 100% right when he said, if I make a comment like that, people are all over me, but everyone else can take a dig. Better get used to it, Jose. That's what happens at Manchester United. I'm sure we were used to it in your time. They'll be right up the backside of Pep and Wenger all season, and even Klopp, and they'll be out for us. But siege mentality, that's what Manchester United should do. Prashant says Wenger is an old retard. He definitely is. Old retard man. And winter is in 4 months, says Adam L. Winter is coming. I can't wait for that video. I thought I was going to be doing it about a week ago. Winter is coming, but we'll hold back. All I'm going to say is it's going to be a fantastic video when Pogba signs anyway. But I've got my big rant ready from a year ago to tell them that winter is here, Real Madrid. Although I did hear that Real Madrid are going to offer 50 million for Alaba from Bayern Munich. I mean, ridiculous if they're going to spend that sort of money. But what else I want to talk about? Obviously, got the Community Shield on Sunday. Join us for the watch-along on Sunday. I know there's a lot of other people having a go at watch-alongs now. I believe the United Stand is the best watch-along because of you lot on the comments and everything like that. So let's unite the United Stand army and see if we can be the best again, because you've been amazing on the last two. Apologies about the Everton one on Wednesday. I just didn't think it was fair, right, or justified to do a watch-along and mug you off for a testimonial. And it proved to be right, 0-0. God. Ask for your money back, although I did go for charity. Mark, do you think we can win the Europa League, says Niall Carroll? It's one of two things, really. My worry about the Europa League is that everyone who's done well in the Europa League, British-wise, in that latter half of the season, their league form has suffered. Yeah, we could break the mould. Yeah, we've got a big enough squad. But if we're going to go for the Europa League, I don't want people like Zlatan or Mkhitaryan or Pogba involved. Leave them for the league. Leave them fresh for the league. The league's what it's all about this year. Whether we can win it, which we could, or whether it's just going with what we've not finished in the top 4 for 2 of the last 3 years. So although some people will say, well, we've got Zlatan now, we've got Pogba, we've got Mkhitaryan, our first thing has to be top 4. We get that, we see where we are from beyond that. So that's where it is for me. United stand all the way, Army all the way on Sunday, says full-time Reds. Madrid are in spring now, but in a week it will be in winter, mate. Who is better, Zlatan or Pogba, Mark Salim? Doesn't matter, we've got both. What I wanted to talk about was let's just jump back slightly. Pogba, when will he sign? I'm getting that a lot at the moment. All I will say about Pogba is what I've been saying for weeks. He will sign for Manchester United. Totally relaxed about it. Can't wait for it to happen. If you want a date, all I will say is by Monday, by end of play Monday, he will be a Manchester United player. That's all I can say. I don't know when it's going to be. They've handled it really well, the club and Adidas, for the last couple of weeks. Nobody, even Demartio and people like that, can really say when it's going to happen, because it's happened. It's done. It's just about optimum time for them. So when do you do it? When is a great time to announce the biggest signing of the summer and break the world transfer record? Because, answers on a postcard. Some people think tomorrow. I think Monday morning, because it destroys everybody's morale on a Monday morning, apart from Manchester United, and it gives us a good start to the week. So I think destroy a Scouser, Arsenal fans, City fans week and do it first thing Monday morning, because everyone's on a downer on a Monday morning. So that's when I want to see it done. But maybe it'll be tomorrow. Could happen tomorrow. We'll just have to wait and see, won't we? But what I wanted to touch on about is what Jose said about his squad being. He normally carries 20 players with 3 goalkeepers, but he's probably going to go a little bit more than that this season. We've all got our thoughts and theories on that. What I want to say is, it is a yellow shirt. Who said that, you cheeky beggar? A Birch. It is a yellow shirt, yeah, because I've been down in London. It was a very good weather today in London, and but it's still Lacoste. You know me and my Lacoste tops. Yeah, so come and sponsor me, Lacoste, whenever you want. I'll wear your tops. What was on about? What was on about? I was on about the squad at Manchester United. We've all got our doubts, but I tell you what, it's not done. The deal. I like that comment from Red Devil Thomas. I've paused that. It's not done. The summer isn't done. I'm convinced that Jose, within that 23, we know he wants rid of Schweinsteiger, which we'll talk about slightly in a moment. We know that Januzaj, Pereira, McNair, not part of the squad, not going to be part of the squad this year. Again, we'll talk about that in a moment if you like. But within the squad that he's using at the moment, you've still got Rojo. I'm convinced he doesn't want Rojo, and he could go and be replaced by somebody else. Darmian could fall into that category. We can pray and hope that Fellini does. I don't think he does, by the way. But I do think that there will be players who will be sold, who are part of that first team squad, and other players will come in. I still think Fabinho will sign, and I still think we really need an experienced centre-back, and he sort of hinted at that. So I don't think it's finished by any means. Some people are going a bit mad about the fact, why have we still got, we're going to be battling for 4th place with the likes of Jones and Young and Fellaini and Rojo and Blind still part of the squad, which I can see. I do see that, because they are still problematic players who I probably wouldn't have at the club except for Blind. I know a lot of people like Ashley Young, but where's he been for the last 2 years? He's 31. And some people throw, well, Schweinsteiger's on 220 grand a week. Well, yeah, maybe he is, but he's a World Cup winner and one of the best midfielders there's been in the last decade. Ashley Young's on about £130,000 a week. So what's the bigger waste of money? Ashley Young, when he comes on for his 4 or 5 games a season, he plays really, really well. And he's a good squad player, but I think there's better, I'd rather see Lozano or Adamunis or somebody like that. And he's getting to that age now where I would rather see that happen, because where's Young been for the last 2 years? And at his age, maybe move him on. But another thing that somebody said to me today is, well, Jose should not be immune to criticism. I don't think he is by any means. I think we say what we think, and I'm sure you do as well. He will get things wrong, and he will be criticised. Every manager is criticised. That's not the point. It's whether you back him, which we do. But his speech a few weeks ago in his first press conference, where he said, "I like specialists, not utility players." Well, you're right back, Valencia, who will start on. I think Darmian should start, but he will start Valencia on Sunday, and I think against Bournemouth. As much as people like Valencia, he's not a right back. He's not a right back. He's transformed into a right back. He does okay at right back, but as I keep telling you, his positional sense is not that good as a right back, and a right back should always be able to defend. I'm surprised Jose's going with that. He knows why. I think Daley Blind will obviously start the season as our centre back as well. Again, I don't think Daley Blind's a centre back, but again, we're using two utility players. Some people don't have a problem with that. I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but it's the opposite of what Jose said would happen. I want specialists in each position. Well, Valencia's not a specialist right back. Daley Blind's not a specialist centre back. They can both play those positions, but this is why I think there will be changes, definitely, because if Jose adheres to what he's always adhered to, then changes will be made. Talking about centre-backs, Red Devil Thomas says, if Stones is worth 50 million, Mark, I'm 100% sure Alaba is worth 50 million. Yeah, well, if City want to spend 50 million pounds on John Stones, then go for it. I mean, I wouldn't have been opposed to John Stones coming to Manchester United, but he's not what we need. And I think Jose's 100% right there when he said, I like John Stones. I did try to sign him last year, but he's not suitable for what Manchester United need. We need an experienced centre-back. Skulls Legend 18, yeah, we definitely do need reading something else there, a centre-back. Anthony Abderab, 1,000 watching, 245 likes. Please drop us a like on the video. We sometimes hit over 1,000 likes while we're live, which is great to do. City should sign Victor Moses. I reckon Jesus could learn a lot from him. Ronak Parek says it takes time. We can't literally get rid of everyone, which is a very, very good comment. It does take time, and it is very difficult to get rid of dead wood that you want to get rid of. Last season, we got rid of the likes of Raphael, Nani, Robin Van Persie. A lot of us would probably have kept two of those three, and we'd let them go very cheap. And we always sell on the cheap, which is probably how you get rid of players, because we pay players good wages as well. So that's why the fee is never that good, because you've got to convince the club to sign them. Taking Schweinsteiger as an example, whether you want him to go or not, and we ran a poll on our Twitter poll today, it had about 4,000 votes on it, and I think it was 70% want him to stay, 30% want him to go. Whether you want him to go or not, I discussed that last night. But what I would say is we signed him last summer. He was the big player that we wanted, and we paid him 200 grand a week or whatever it is. A year later, we're forcing him into the reserves. He's not part of Jose's plans. That's up to Jose. I personally think it's wrong, but you've got to back the manager. It's up to him. You cannot get on Schweinsteiger's back if he now says, you know what? You've treated me badly. I'm on 200 grand a week here. No one else is going to give me 200 grand a week. If you want to destroy my career, I've already resigned from international football anyway. I want to play for Manchester United. I'm not going anywhere. The club will try and, what they're going to do. Stick glass in his porridge in the morning or something like that to try and bully him out. It might happen, it might not. But this is the problem. It's the flip side to the coin, really. You can say, we don't want somebody anymore, but United gave him that contract a year ago, and they've got to live by that now. And I don't adhere to the bullying of Valdez, Schweinsteiger, or the way they treated Robin Van Persie to go. I like a club to have a little bit more class than that. And I think there's ways you can force people out. They could say, we'll pay your wages, go on loan to somewhere like Everton for the season. Schweinsteiger might go, no, I don't really want to go, but Man United could deal with it classily. If he decides to sit and rot in the reserves, he's got every right to do it, is what I would say. And I think that's part of the problem. It's like, Rojo, we might have wanted him to go. There was that rumour this week that he's like, I don't want to go, because he's probably on very good money at Manchester United. Fellini as well. Sunderland are interested in him, but he's on very good money. We spent 30 million pounds on him. Maybe this is a bigger issue for the club, is what I'm saying. I'm not blaming Jose for this. He comes into the club. He goes, I don't need Schweinsteiger. I've got enough midfielders. Fellaini offers me something different, even though he's not a better player than Schweinsteiger. Offers me something different. This is the squad I want. Schweinsteiger's not part of it. And then the club is how the club deals with it then. But they pay big money to get players. You can't just expect those players to just walk out the door. So I think that comment from Ronak is really important, that we may well be trying to get rid of players, but it isn't always that easy. And then sometimes you've got to put up with what you've got. Going back to the case in point, Ashley Young, we gave him a massive contract within the last 2 years. Some people said, oh, he deserves it. Some people didn't. It was a long contract. It was £130,000 a week. That's a hell of a lot of money for somebody who isn't a first-team player, who's been playing at fullback for the last 2 years. But that's the club. And who's going to pay Ashley Young £130,000 a week? It's just one to point out there. I just think, the way we buy players is good, but it's not always easy to get rid of somebody. Matty Ray says, Mark, sum up Arsenal's transfer window in 2 words. Well, sum it up for me. I don't know. Have they bought anybody yet? I know they bought somebody from Fulham. But we are, Drochi Devil. Fellini could be useful as a water carrier. Very good. What makes me laugh about Arsenal, and it really does make me laugh, I'm laughing inside at this, what I'm about to say, is that we have no Champions League football. We are a bigger club than Arsenal. But, you've got their manager, as I said at the start, coming out saying, even if I had £100 million, I wouldn't spend it on one player. Well, why haven't you got £100 million for a start? You've been in the Champions League for every year since it started. You've got a massive stadium that idiots do actually go and for some reason watch every week and fill out, and you charge the most money. You've got the TV deal. You haven't got as much money as us, but you've got a lot of money and you don't spend it. So you can come out with your comments, like I said before, I wouldn't spend it on Pogba, but every one of your support want you to go and spend the money. And it's because that club, like a lot of clubs, and like our club has been accused of as well, it's all about paying the shareholders. And Wenger is almost like the bank manager who gets the profits to the shareholders and mugs the fans off. So, Arsenal, I don't know. Why have they never bought? I'm glad, but why have they never bought a number 9? They've had a decent team behind them in the past, and why they never bought a number 9, I do not know. But I don't worry myself about Arsenal too much. I just think it's funny that they are in a better position than us because they've got Champions League football. They die to have someone like Zlatan, let alone Mkhitaryan, let alone Pogba, and they desperately try on Twitter to do their polls to say it doesn't matter, but it does matter. It's laughable. Liverpool, they're jealous of us and they try and have a go at us, but they're never getting back. Their dream would be to scrape 4th place. They are never getting back Liverpool. But Arsenal, they have got the facilities to do better than they do. They've just run ridiculously badly. Has Pogba signed yet? Anyone? Says Walker 112. No, they haven't. We have signed somebody. I meant to say that. We have signed somebody, and I want to get his name right because it is always important. Joshua Bohal from, I hope I'm going to get this right. Was it Brentford or Charlton? Definitely a London club. 17 years of age. Meant to be, creative, exciting, fast, young player. 17. Bit older than Angel Gomez and Tahith Chong. But again, an exciting young player coming in, and in the next couple of years could be really, really useful. So that fits in with Manchester United. For those of you aware, we've got the UnitedStand.com website where we've got a write-up on the reserves playing the other night. Matthew Olasunde was a player we spoke about probably about 6 months ago. Signed from America. He scored the other night. We lost on penalties, but he scored. So there are players coming through, which is really exciting, and we want to see that happen more. But what I would say is, while we're just talking about players coming in and out of the door, we've got this 23-man squad that Mourinho said that he's going to work with. But the sad thing for me is that there's only Rashford and Fosu Mensah who are youth players within that squad. And both of those, whether he stumbled on them or not, were Van Gaal youth players last year. Where is your youth player coming through, Jose, this season? You should have one. We need, You've got to be vocal about things that concern you, and that concerns me. In your squad, where is a youth player that you're bringing through as your own? Yes, Rashford's young. Yes, Fosu Mensah's young, but they came through last year. You should have one in that squad, part of the squad, that you can say, and also to get on the back of those people who are going to criticise you for it. You should have had one, whether it was Twansibi, Pereira. Pereira was the one for me because although he's getting on in years, he's not 15 or anything like that. He was never given a shot by Van Gaal, so he was the player you could have brought in and gone, that's my youth product, I'm going to use this season. And from what I've seen, he's very good, but again, not part of the squad. Keelan and Amster are saying Twansibi. Is Pereira in the squad, says Louis McCullough? No, he's not. He's not in the squad at all. we aren't using them anymore. We used them in the Wigan game, obviously, a couple of weeks ago, and we took them on the Chinese tour. But he's basically using this 20-man squad now, which he used last week and which he's going to use at the weekend. And it's full of experience. For me, it's full of Deadwood experience, where you could get rid of 2 or 3 and actually bring a couple of youth players in through the point of the season. From what I've seen at the moment, I hope he's going to prove me wrong. And the thing about youth players is they don't have to be part of that 20-man squad. But what he's talking about is a 23 set of players that he'll use through the season. And there is only Rashford and Fosu Mensah in that. We'll have to wait and see. But that was something that did concern me a bit. But we're going to have to fend off these arguments. Salim Hussein, we need to promote more youth. We've got fantastic youth. He just needs to start using them. Maybe he'll use them in the League Cup. I don't know. Mark Mourinho doesn't have to name any under-21 player, but can still play them at any time through the season, says Sportsfan 2000. Yes, that's what I think. I sort of clarified that there. He's not naming a squad. What he said today is, I normally use a squad of about 20 set players. This year I'll use 23, and this is it. And that doesn't include any youth players. So that's what I mean. I think he's saying he's going to use this set of players, but I hope he will bring some youth players in. Because if he doesn't, he'll get criticised, and he should do. Jose Mourinho says, stop sounding so pessimistic, mate. Not pessimistic at all. Said at the start of the video, we will win the league in the next 2 years under Jose, and that's what we want. I think there's a lot of question marks, but I back him. I think we will play far better football. I think it's just about moulding things. I think it needs to be given time. I think we said at least start of the week that a lot of players will have a hangover from Van Halen, and that will take time. And Jose has repeated that himself. Dev Dadaka says, Mark, can we win the league without a new centre-back signing? Well, do you think we can win the league with Chris Smalling, Daley Blind, which I've said we never can, with Daley Blind as a centre-back first choice? I don't think we can. Bay, I think will be good, but he has to be given time. It took Vidic 6 months to get used to this league, so we've got to give him time. And you got Phil Jones and Rojo, who I would not trust them with anything. So I think we need to sign a centre-back. Michael Gleeson, shout out. Seasons haven't even started. You can't expect youth players. Happen, click of the finger. No, we can't, but I'm just throwing it out there that maybe he might not use players, and I don't think he can take credit for Rashford and Fosu Mensah. And you know I'm not a fan of Van Hal, but I want him to bring some through of his own. Blind is class, Rojo sucks, says Ebenezer Lim. Stephen Botto, I honestly like this channel, but the amount of disrespect you show towards Rooney is appalling. The fact you can't even call him a legend makes you look stupid. Stephen, have you dropped back into a time warp and started watching videos from 18 months ago? 1, we've not mentioned Rooney tonight, and 2, we did a video on him the other day where I definitely said he was a legend, but he's not in my top 10 legends. So I don't know where that. I mean, I sort of came across that there, but I'm baffled, Stephen. I don't know whether you're hearing voices. When will it be official about Pogba signing? Says Bibas, by Monday. I can't tell you when, but by Monday. Oh, this is a funny one. Daniel Pacey, Mark Lingard. Mark, I'm not related to Lingard. Mark Lingard is better than. Better use of the comma, please, in future. Mark, Lingard is better than Memphis at the moment. Exclamation mark. Do you agree? Exclamation mark. Question mark. Yeah, I do. Actually, you know what? I'll be honest. I do. I don't think Lingard should be anywhere near the first team. Some people think he will be, which is ridiculous. But as a squad player, we're not going to sell him. I think if we sold Lingard, it would be a massive opportunity for the press to get onto him and say, oh, look at him selling youth players. So Jose's not going to do that, even though I know some of you would get rid of him. Decent squad player, I think effectively would struggle to get on the bench, but we'll have to see. I'm going to do my top 11 and subs. I'm going to do a video of that tomorrow for you all to watch. But he's better than Memphis at the moment. Memphis has got a hell of a lot to prove. I've got no problem with that. Honesty. I mean, somebody said to me today, you're only defending Schweinsteiger because you like Schweinsteiger. If it was Fellini thrown into the reserves, you wouldn't moan about it. And I thought about it. I thought, maybe that's a fair pop. But actually, I would, because I've got nothing against Fellini, Phil Jones, Rojo as individual people. I just don't think they're good enough to play football for Manchester United. If we went and sent them off to play for the reserves, I'd still have a problem with it and say it's disrespectful. You don't need to do that to professional footballers. There's better ways of doing things. So I'm defending myself a little bit there. Top 4 this season in the Premier League. It says Isaac, very easy. I'm not going to put it in order, but the top 4 will be Chelsea, Manchester United, Manchester City and Arsenal. Simple. Mark was right when he said Ronaldo stalled Rooney's development at United. Sean Hunt. Thanks, Sean. Obviously, you did watch what I said about Rooney and the fact that I thought his first few years he was fantastic. And then Sir Alex had a choice to make, Ronaldo or Rooney. And I think he made the right choice. Ronaldo became his star and Rooney had to graft out on the left wing a lot, which he did. He did it for the team. So, but I do agree that Rooney's on the decline now, and I think this season it is massive. I don't want to see us carrying Rooney like we have for the last 2. I don't think Jose will carry anybody, so he'll either get the best out of him or Rooney will be on the bench, and that's best for Manchester United, isn't it? Which is what it should always be about. Stephen Conway says we'll announce Pogba just before the Community Shield. I'll be amazed. Mark, how many games do you think Rashford will get this season, says Dev Dadarkar. I think he'll get about 30 games, which is good. I think he's going to be coming off the bench regularly. I think when people get injured, he will start. I'll be amazed if he's a starter at the start of the season, because you think about them attacking positions. Rooney will be number 10, Mkhitaryan surely on the right, Martial on the left, Zlatan at the front. If they work together, it's mouth-watering. But Rashford will come on. We know he offers something different. We know that Rooney likes Rashford playing at 9 because he can play his 40-yard passes into the flanks. So yeah. Bill R. Sahar says new contract is ridiculous. I don't know whether that's true about Rooney. I don't think he should get a new contract. I think this will be his last season before he goes off to America and makes a bit of money. A bit of money, a bit more money than he already has. There's something else. There's more that I wanted to talk to you about. Zlatan, vice captain. Yes, God, why have I waited so long to get on that? What are you thinking about Zlatan being vice captain? Like the video if you're happy with it. See what I did there? I want to see them lights go up to 1,000 while we're live on air on a Friday night. And I'm back in the normal studio, so that deserves a like. I think we did well in London, but I think being back where we are, hopefully you enjoy it. And I think that deserves a like. But Zlatan as vice captain, I tweeted it out this morning that I think it's quite a good thing. Hello to Carrick fan. That I think it's quite clever. He does it now. Rooney and Carrick are captain and vice captain ahead of Zlatan. Full-time Reds is saying good move. Stephen Smith says it's a joke. Wonder why? Add more, Stephen, and we'll read out. But I think it's very clever because I think if Rooney will start off the season as captain and with Carrick and then Zlatan. If Rooney doesn't perform or gets substituted because he's not performing, that captain's armband gets passed on. If Carrick isn't the holding midfielder, which he won't be all the season because he can't play that game, then that goes to Zlatan. I think it's quite a clever strategic move to make Zlatan the captain of Manchester United, which I would prefer because he is a proper leader. And so I'm pleased about it, and I think it's a very clever way of doing it. Rather than giving it in straight away, it's sort of like it's an incentive for Rooney to sort himself out and properly lead this team. But it's almost like there's something on your shoulder. If you get it wrong, you're not the captain anymore. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Anmol says Pogba update. Signed by Monday, Anmol. That's the update. He'll be a Man United player by Monday. I'm not going to tell you when because I haven't got a clue. Somebody just said that Zlatan, King Hassie, Zlatan equals Mangela's bitch. Yeah, we'll see. Zlatan will only be here for 1 year. It should have been given to De Gea, who's brought far more to the club than a few shirt sales, says Stephen Smith. Good point, Stephen, actually. Thanks for replying because I couldn't see what angle you were coming from. Again, maybe we're upsetting loyal players over a new signing. You know, Zlatan got Martial's number 9 and maybe De Gea thought he'd be captain. But yeah, very good angle. Tom Lord says maybe it means that he'll be here longer than a year though. But Dilpan T says great move, perfect captain material, players already looking up to him, which is apparently what has actually happened. So there you go. Can Pogba be a captain? Says Salim Hussein. Maybe in the future. He's here for 2 or 3 years in his prime, so maybe in the future. I always like a midfielder to be the captain, driving the team forward. This channel is great, says Lewis Wright. Thank you. Need a new Carrick. We do need a new Carrick. That's from Mohammed Saeed. Okay. Mark out the 4 signings. Who will shine the most and who will shine the least? Difficult question from Michael Nudo. Zlatan will shine. I've said that. I think Pogba and Mkhitaryan will do really well. I think the sound hasn't gone, Mika. It's probably your computer. I think Bay will be the least, only because he's so young and it takes a while to get used to it, and he will make mistakes. That's what happens when you're a defender. But he'll come good. He'll come good. But I think it will be out of the other 3, and I would go with Zlatan. Right. The next question was from our Patreon website. The link is in the video description. Basically, if you want to contribute to the United Stand, and by doing that, we'll read out and shout out you for a question each month. Graham Gregson sent one in. He contributed last night. He sent a question in. Why do you think we've become a club that treats legends so badly? And do you think it will have an impact on future transfers? That's from Graham Gregson. I presume he's talking about Schweinsteiger and Valdez and Robin van Persie. Why do we do it? I've sort of touched it on the video, Graham, to be honest. I think we do it because we're trying to force somebody out of the club who the manager doesn't want anymore, who's on 220 grand a week. I think the club are trying to force him out, and maybe, well, for me, they're doing it the wrong way. That's not the way of doing it. You signed him a year ago. You should stand by the contract you gave him. Was it 2 years that we gave Schweinsteiger? So they should stand by that. There's no need to put him in the reserves. If you don't want him to be part of the club, let him go on loan for a year. But he can stay, and he's got every right to stay because that's the contract that they gave him. Will it have an impact on future transfers? Because we've done it twice now with Valdez and Schweinsteiger and Robin van Persie to a certain extent. I don't think it'll have any impact on future transfers because the way we are doing things now, as we've seen with Pogba, money talks. And a player might think, I don't like the way Manchester United treated Schweinsteiger. Like, take Griezmann next summer. I don't like the way he treated Schweinsteiger. But then Ed Woodward goes, 300 grand a week. And he goes, I'll tell you what, I'll take that. I'll take my chances and sign. So I don't think it will have an impact at all. I think Rummenigge was wrong about that from Bayern Munich saying it would. Money talks to a footballer, and it tends to be that when you sign a player, they are going to have a year to prove themselves, aren't they? So no, I don't think it will have any impact at all, if I'm totally honest. I don't know what any of you lot think. But yeah, he could definitely earn his money and sit his contract out, and I wouldn't have a problem with that because the club have given him a contract. I want Fellini to leave. He's been here 3 years now. How many years did we give him a contract? Because he must be coming towards the end. My concern is we'll give him a new one. But if we tried to sell Fellini now and he just sat on his backside and says, I'm not going anywhere, then he's got every right to do that, hasn't he? That's the whole point of the contract, but it always falls into the hands of the player. Money does talk. Pogba would never return, to be honest, says Mohammed Saeed. He's 100% right. We've discussed that many a times. Jamie Johnson is watching from the Cayman Islands. We treated Di Maria badly, says Ridaman Mehdi. Maybe we didn't. I don't know. He certainly got himself out of the club. Pogba staying at Juventus. He's giving Juve shirts to Drake with his name on the back. No chance of that happening. Griezmann next year, says Emad. I think so. Pogba is Monday, so if United lose, it can cover bad news. Hope United win. I'm a Jose fan, says Say Claxi. I think we're all Jose fans. I just think as the season develops, things will happen. It's not always going to be sweetness and light. It never is. It never was with Sir Alex, and it was the best period of my life as a Man United fan. But he would do things. You go, why has he done that? That's football. But we do back Jose. We want him to do really well. I'm really excited about Sunday because I've been saying this for a number of weeks. Leicester will be up for it. They played Barcelona midweek. They'll be up for it. It's at Wembley. It'll be our first proper competitive game, and it'll be a gauge of where we're at. Because one thing you'll get out of Leicester is effort, and one thing we didn't get from United much last year was effort. And it's whether Jose can get that effort. That's what I'm excited to see. The form and playing your way into form will take time. I don't expect everyone to hit the ground running on Sunday, but what I want to see is some effort. So I'm really excited about it. Obviously, the United Stand will be back with a watch along on Sunday. Really excited about that. Proper first watch along, really, I feel. And we will be live. So join us for that as per usual. Like the video, please, if you want to, and keep getting involved with the United Stand. Lots going on. It's been a fantastic summer. And as we move towards Pogba signing and the season starting, it doesn't end now. I think it will get more exciting. I do think there will be more signings coming through the door. But as to who, I think Fabinho, I just think will happen. And I would like to see certainly a centre-back coming in. Somebody just said, what's your predicted score for the Community Shield? It was Michael Nudo. I've got a funny feeling it'll be 2-2. They go straight to penalties, doesn't it? But as Lewis Wright said, I'm really buzzing for it. He's buzzing for it. I can't wait for it to happen. Rio Ferdinand said that Pogba won't go to Man U for money. It's about the football and support his family. Ryan Sagar. I don't believe that, what Ferdinand's saying, to be honest. I mean, this is the man who I love Rio Ferdinand as a player at Manchester United. Thought he was superb. Some of his opinions are good. Some of them are not so good. Scholes was the one I listened to last year. I mean, Ferdinand wanted Big Sam to be manager of England, so that says it a lot for me. But Pogba's probably coming here for the money. So what? Rooney's here for the money. He's always been here for the money. He's an Everton fan. He drives his kids down to Liverpool to be born there. He's not a Manchester United fan. If our wealth enables us to sign Paul Pogba, I don't see anything wrong with it. He's a professional footballer who will want to develop from 23 to 27 or however long he's here. And he will develop as a Manchester United player. And that's fantastic. That's what our wealth buys us. So I don't have any concern with that at all. Cole K says he's expecting a shaky start to the season, but as long as we're ready for City. Interesting point that. I think Jose, as I said last night, he breaks up a season by points, but Bournemouth away, first game of the season, very excited about it, but they'll be up for it. Could be quite a difficult game. You'd look at it on paper and any other point of the season, you'd say we need to be getting 3 points there. But would not surprise me if we drew, but we'll talk about that more next week. Right, watch along on Sunday. Can't wait for that. Tomorrow I've got a video going up on the channel as well. Also, for those who've subscribed to United Stand Extra Time, there's a Duncan Edwards video that I put up on Wednesday that a lot of people seem to enjoy. You can do that through the video link in the description. If you want your questions reading out on the United Stand, just go to the Patreon link and contribute through there, and then drop your question into the little private chat thing there is there. But thanks, everybody. It's brilliant to be back in the proper studio for the United Stand. Razwin Rashid wants a shout out. What time is kickoff on Sunday, says Jay. It's 4 o'clock. But yeah, Pogba must be flying back tomorrow, so we'll find out everything about that. He will sign for Manchester United. Ajuka's gutted for Bastion. So am I, but I think we just need to calm it down a little bit and move on and trust the manager. That's what you've got to do. You've got to back the manager, isn't it? You say your bit and then you back the manager, and that's the way it should be. Thanks, Red Memphis. Great show as always. Fantastic for the live comments as per usual. If you want to drop the video a like on your way out, that'd be great. There will be a Community Shield watch along, LaRusso. We want the United Stand army to stand with us and join us on Sunday like you did a couple of weeks ago. We know other people are doing it now. That's up to them. But hopefully you'll stick with the United Stand and make ours the biggest and the best, as I believe it is. And I think a lot of you do as well. So big up to you lot. Thanks, everybody. Superb on the live comments. You're here. I'm back at 8:30. I'm sorry for the last couple of days, but obviously I had a break in London, which was great. We go again. This is it. We're going into the real time now. We're going into the real season. Chris Angry Beaver, thank you. He'll be on the show on Sunday night. This is it. We're not playing anymore. It's not a little holidays to London doing 10 o'clock shows. Back at 8:30. Back with real football. Back with a football watch-along, proper style on Sunday. And then into the real season with Pogba in the United shirt. Cannot wait. United we stand, says Jeremy Lambert. See you all tomorrow. Have a great day. Have a great evening. Enjoy your weekend. And I really, really can't wait for Sunday. Really excited. Speak to you all soon.